All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Swain Baddy League. This is it. This is it. This is the big bad bull. DTF versus Broke Bottom Boys. Winner almost assuredly goes to the playoffs. Loser ends the final season in last place, an embarrassing 1-9. I'm AJ0. I'm here with Thor and Scotchonaut to bring you guys this one. And I am legitimately excited. I messaged 30. I made him rearrange who was casting which games this week because I wanted this game. I think this is going to be an affront to everything I love about League of Legends. I am going to be legitimately angry at this match before it is over, and I am so excited.
That sounds pretty accurate.
This game is a
Absolutely
good throwback to the good old days of the SBL right here.
Yeah, it really is. And the last time these two teams played was a long time ago, week 2, a matchup that's Everlight was still playing bot lane at that point. We've come a long way. Cameron also still playing bot lane at that point, but rosters pretty drastically different than they were back then. Broke Bottom Boys have had some players removed from the league. They've had some new players added to their roster. Zwerbs and Smiggles both were not on their roster when these two teams first played. And for DTF, we have Sword and Mace emergency subbing as they last minute were unable to get a hold of Ryzak, I believe.
The 30? Apparently we can't be heard.
We can't. A sec to fix that.
Yep.
Hopefully.
It is fixed now.
Perfect. So, going through this draft, nothing too surprising here. We've got some mages, we've got some bot lane mages, we've got some bot lane supports all being taken out, and that doesn't surprise me. Cameron versus Everlight, presumably in the mid lane, going to be the tale of this match. And first pick going to be Draven, going to presumably East Coast carry. A pick I'm kind of excited to see. I've been really high on Draven on this recent meta. I don't know how much his situation has changed in the last patch, but Draven's always a pretty exciting pick, and hopefully something that'll let East Coast carry abuse his skill differential in bot lane.
Has he gotten that before this season?
Um,
Draven?
as
I
he
remember
is-
that's like his best AD carry, and we banned it both times we faced them. We didn't want to
He
deal with it.
did play it in week 6, scrolling through my notes here. 2, 3, and 6 games, so nothing to write home about, although his Leona was inting in that game, so it's hard to say. It's been a problem for a lot of these AD carry players, where you look at them getting kind of their key champs, and it's like, well, it didn't go that well, but also look at what happened in their lane. So I don't know who's going to be supporting. It was Ryzak supporting him the last time he had Draven, and Ryzak not playing tonight, so whether it'll be Senpai, whether it'll be Sword and Mace.
According to the rumor mill, it should be Senpai going down to the support for them, practicing it for them since he returned.
Yeah, and ooh, we got Everlight picking up the Heimerdinger, which I assume is going to be going to the mid lane since the Draven's been picked.
Or a top lane Heimerdinger
Or
for Sword?
I guess, yeah, that could be legit too. I have no clue what Sword has been playing. And then
I think that's the same for everybody across the league.
yeah, I do not get paid enough Bitcoin to scout out the emergency subs for these games. Gonna be straight up here, guys. I can tell you what Sword's played for the last 5 years in the SBL, and it's not been Heimerdinger though. So this, if that is going to Sword and Mace, should be a pretty exciting pick.
Looking over at BBB, we do see Jin Zhao, Ornn, and Caitlyn being picked up. Pretty decent lineup of champs, with Ornn having that huge engage ram, and Jin being that good duelist for early.
Yeah, we've seen when Wang has played jungle this season, he has picked the Xin before. So with Goku Rose being missing this week, I did assume we were going to see Wang in the jungle again. So I'm excited to have some Wang watching in such a key game for these teams.
Yep, and some More insider news is 3 days ago, Sword Mace actually uninstalled League of Legends because he was absolutely done with it. He no longer was having fun with it, and he is back for one salty run back. Try to push DTF into the playoffs.
That's what you want from your emergency sub. I broke my keyboard and uninstalled the game. I'm washing my hands, but hey, can you emergency sub for us on Tuesday?
Hey, Sword's a pretty competitive guy. I wouldn't be too concerned about him not trying once they get into this game.
Oh, definitely.
At least.
Sword definitely gives his all in anything that is a competitive matchup. And something I want to point out right now is Camera is hovering Smite. Is he potentially looking to get funneled?
That wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if the funnel changes have gone through.
I believe they did, as of the last...
What would be more broke baddie boys than funneling after Riot breaks that strategy? Which is saying it's bad, but who knows?
Maybe Camera's just playing 4D chess.
He jungled last game. Who knows?
It could be.
Joey got his the Raka. And
yeah, there are some fun picks coming out of this game. We've got Evelite finally getting that Heimerdinger. Or sorry, that Vygar.
And Sword Mace will be taking the Heimerdinger top lane.
This is going to be a clowny game. DTF has picked everything I could have hoped to see, and BBB might be running an awful strategy. What more could we ask for on this season-defining match with Talon?
Smite, Talon, mid.
The Smite can still get changed.
No, it was a Korean strat for quite some time, because you can get that early level 2 just by doing Raptor camps with your little blades you throw out. It's a good way to abuse the lane, but if he keeps that Smite, it's gonna be interesting for him.
Yeah, remember, Spectator does kind of glitch out with not showing us the summoner change until the timer times out, so we can't be sure until that timer hits 0. But we do see Evelite on the other side hovering an Ignite, or an Exhaust. Probably not what you want to pick when you're picking the Vygar, but it's probably going to be necessary into this Talon matchup. So we already see Evelite starting this on the back foot, but I'm really excited to see this mid lane. Like, even more excited than I was before this draft.
I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see this top lane. Sword Mace Heimerdinger versus Smiggles Ornn.
Yeah, this is gonna be very interesting in all 3 lanes, I think.
Also, Zwerbs is on 80 carry this week.
Yes.
I
saw that.
We're throwing around more crazy ideas.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of people play a lot of lanes for this Broke Bottom Boys team. As this is maybe the team that has had the most different roster compositions of any SBL team we've ever seen.
Yeah, and now that the spectator delay started, are the summoners locked in?
The summoners are locked in, so what you see is what you're going to get, and it will be that Smite on Camera, so the double Smite coming out of BBB here.
Well, if they lose a dragon, I'll be sad.
And, you know, maybe as clowny as it sounds, having that double Smite insurance for late game could be a deciding factor in this matchup. These teams are just complete flaming piles of garbage after the 35-minute point. Maybe you just want to have 2 shots in a Baron steal. Maybe that's how you decide you're going to win this game.
Take a third one. Take a third one.
Everybody takes Smite. As long as we got 5 Smites, we shouldn't lose a single thing.
Have Joey take one and hope they don't press tab at any point. Oh god. I hope it's literally just like everyone throws down immediately upon getting to lane, and the spectator cam is just like bouncing lane to lane to lane to lane the entire game.
I hope to God there's level 1 antics in this game. It would be the perfect time for it. Oh, come on. Come on. Just
freaking hang out.
Give it to us. This is the baddie bowl. We need.
I mean, the Vygar cage is good, and the Leona stun is good, and the stand aside potentially probably not. So just you got 2 stuns on one side versus like nothing on the other side. So
Yeah, I don't think BBB has any incentive to level 1. They might have negative incentive to level 1. That does not look ready for an engagement.
That does not look like a throwdown at Jimmy's Russells. Well, with 30 seconds left, who do you want to put your money on? What lane is getting first blood?
I'm going to say the bottom lane for DTF. Blood.
I'm going to say there's going to be a rush to 6 for mid lane, and one of them's going to die.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to see something happen in the mid lane early on. These guys are both playing around some fairly large unknown quantities. You know, how often do you think Cameron and Evelite have played into Vigar or Talon? And
I mean, for Evelite, he's probably played Vigar into Talon many times. It's just the Talon with Smite. That's a little bit different.
That's a little bit more awkward of an animal.
No, I feel that with the Ignite in the bottom lane and it being a Draven Leona lane into Caitlyn Soraka, someone's going to make a misplay and someone's going to die down there.
If Joey's anywhere in the same zip code, I fear for his life.
Yeah, watching Zwerves play out these first few levels is going to be really huge. We've seen a lot of bad level 1 bot lane play this season, level 1 and level 2. Leona Draven, they have the chance, to, if they can rush to level 2 here, I would not be surprised to see them just jump and kill Albino Joe.
I hope for once we can see East Coast Carry hop off to an early lead in a lane that he should have no business losing.
I mean, I don't think this is going to be the easiest lane for East Coast Carry, in theory. I think Caitlyn Soraka has the tools to withstand Draven.
Yeah, they can just hold them at arm's reach, hopefully, and then take some free trades off of them running at them. And,
and importantly, when they do take the occasional axe or two, they could heal through a lot. It's Albino Joe is going to be the most important person in this lane, because if BBB is going to lose bot lane, it's going to be Albino Joe's fault. That's how this lane would play out. Is the Soraka gets jumped and 100 to 0'd.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Definitely what I'm seeing at level 2 is somebody steps too far forward to get that last minion and all hell breaks loose down there in the bottom lane. Unfortunately, we do see just the fan out from both teams.
I mean, honestly, you would hope that if the Draven and Leona get the kill, it's because they get so desperate to get it that they blow all of their sums. And congrats, they got it. But then Wang is cognizant enough to...
No, he is not.
All right,
Scott, I figured out what is wrong with your bot lane mentality. If you can get that kill at level 1, I will blow all 10 summoners in the goddamn game to get a level 1 kill in bot lane.
Well, I'm not saying at level 1. I'm saying, like, it's level 4 or 5 at this point and nothing's happening, so they just go, well, do you want to throw the sink at them?
If they get the kill into Draven, it's worth it.
Absolutely, especially at, like, 4 or 5 when he's got quite a few stacks.
This is actually a game where if I'm playing bot lane in this game, I'm telling my jungler to start on the top side of the map, because as either of these lanes, I want to rush level 2. But it is going to be the Draven getting there a step or two ahead of time. Hopefully Direct the Camera will show us something down in the bot lane soon, not just Heimerdinger autoing these creeps with his turrets. Because
that's the most interactive gameplay in League of Legends.
Both these 80s, God, there's a lot of thought that goes into this lane. But Senpai actually taking a big trade. That's pretty big out of Joe and Swerves.
Somebody remind me, Senpai doesn't actually play this game. That they're mostly from Overwatch, correct?
Overwatch and Counter-Strike is what Senpai mostly plays.
Okay. So not a regular League of Legends player.
That is correct.
One of the lower rated players, but I believe he has played a pretty large amount of his team's games. I actually might be wrong about that, looking at my notes.
He's only played one other game for DTF. Been out of the country or on business ventures for most of the season.
Yeah, that is correct. He's actually only played once. And that one game was a support Vel'Koz game. It went 0-7-2. It was a disaster.
Smaller in the diagram.
But up in this top lane, we see a big trade going down. Smiggles maybe realizes a little late that Heater Auto's not quite gonna finish, but now Wang
But he
is
set
coming
up the
top.
gank.
Sword trying to flash away, but Wang flash follows. Gets
First
first
blood.
blood.
First blood to the Wang. Oh god.
What will he do with all of his gold?
I hope he pulls a Zac and we think like, holy shit, Wang is a god, and then immediately
Like throws
goes
it right
from
into the
4-0
Draven train.
to 4-8 by the 20-minute mark. What happened?
Where did it all go wrong for me?
But good bait by Smiggles. Almost too aggressive. He did a good combo, but he did not pay respect to the ass blasting that all of those turrets that he was standing in the middle of were going to give him.
Yeah, Heimerdinger ain't nothing to fuck with.
Or at least bait him out from his turrets, which is impossible. Oh, and
Alright,
we
now
got a little bit.
Senpai, yeah, going in, but he gets a little ahead of his AD there, so Zwarm's able to get a nice counter trade going. The Leona totally chunked out. East Coast carry takes some damage as well.
Well, there would be the communication from DTF right there, because East Coast carry was backing up, and Senpai went in when East Coast carry was nowhere near to trade in.
Yeah, East Coast carry did that, you know, throw the axe and then run away immediately, and then Senpai was like, oh, we're going in?
Yeah, and you kind of saw
Awkward.
to Senpai maybe not a whole lot of bot lane experience, or just maybe a lower level of play, I don't know. But I mean, that was a pretty obviously telegraphed situation from East Coast carry. That was like quite a few seconds after the fact Senpai tried going in. And that's something you just see out of lower level players a lot. They totally tunnel vision in situations like that. And it's going to put them in a huge losing situation in this bot lane now. But they're trying to go in anyways. They do have a jungle in the
Trundle
neighborhood.
is here.
Taking a lot of damage. The Ignite is down. The pillar, a nice block. East Coast carry trying to chase out, gets the knock aside. And
Nice.
there we go. Draven catches the stacks.
That's a
Off
good
to the
sign for
races we
DTF.
go. And
Real
there's an
good.
Infernal on the table here.
Yeah, I think they might want to recall instead.
It would be very aggressive for them, but
Yeah,
one
it's
does
still
think
5
about
minutes.
it when you get that kill bottom lane.
Yeah, as we do see Scuttle contest. That's Scuttle going over to Kaiser, so... but that was huge. That was a great time for Kaiser to show up in the bot lane. Really smart pathing to abuse Zwarms and Albino Joe, who don't always have a tendency to think about things like the jungler showing up.
Oh, definitely. Kaiser was at the right place at the right time with how far pushed up Zwerbs and Joey were. Pretty good early kill for the Draven.
Yeah, and this is going to now turn laning phase into a really rough place for Zwarps and Albino Joe. Zwarps had to go for the Berserker's Greaves back, whereas East Coast carry going to be sitting on some actual attack stats. He's also got the Executioner's Calling, so he's going to be able to trade a bit more aggressively on the Zwarps and block some of that Soraka healing.
I think that's an excellent pickup this early into the game. Just abuse the fact that you have a stronger lane for all inning. Take out that healing that could potentially come through from Joey.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that pickup. I feel all too often people don't respect picking up that Grievous Wounds, and it ends up costing them a lot of kills.
Yeah, and in this top lane, Sartmace is really starting to bully. Despite giving up the first blood, he is getting a big CS advantage. But we do have BBB managing to sneak this Infernal Drake pretty uncontested here. As Kaiser was on the top side of the map, so that was a smart play of them. Let them start working on their scaling.
With the 2 smites, I hope that BBB doesn't give up a single dragon in this game. They
Or
should
at
be
least
focusing...
contests everyone.
Exactly.
And that wonderful silence every time Leona walks up. Just to hold him at arm's reach, but
Oh!
this is
Nice.
not
Now
good.
he's getting chunked. Worms blocked into Leona's stun, and that is a
boy.
second kill on East Coast carry.
This is the beginning of the end. A fed Draven is always a scary thing.
Not good. I think it was a case of they didn't have any wards and they wanted to push up but I mean, you just gotta respect that she's right there on the edge of that bush, waiting for you to get in range.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, Swerves with the Berserker's Greaves already. That's a really huge misplay in the situation. Caitlyn with a boots 2 to no boots advantage. You have to be able to play around the edge of your opponent's range effectively, and Swerves totally failed at it there. And now this Draven is going to start getting big. He's sitting on 1250 gold right now, so pretty close to the BF sword I imagine he's saving up for. But in this top lane, yeah, some damage on the Dinger, although he gets something on the return.
Smiggles is getting that early magic resist though pretty soon.
Oh my god! East Coast carry is with the fear of God in BBB. One auto and Albino Joe immediately flashes.
Yeah, that Leona was in a good threatening spot, and that could have netted another kill for East Coast carry.
That was a whole lot of nope.
Yeah, no, they haven't spent that last
Draven,
kill
you
gold.
want that flash? You got it.
We do have junglers baiting in lanes on the two sides of the map here, so we'll see if they do anything.
Sword and Mace's flash is back up.
Also, real quick, while we have a little lull in the action, mid lane has started to explode in favor of Cameron here. Once he hit level 6, he's really started taking off in this lane. He's now up 23 CS here.
Wonder how much of that is from jungle.
I think that's mainly just from the Ramter camp that he's able to flash in.
Boy.
Very aggressive, has the Leona. Albino Joe still getting chunked out. This should be an easy kill for the Draven, and it will be. East Coast carry 3-0-0 here at the 10-minute mark.
Absolutely worth. Absolutely worth play out of Leona.
Oh, and Wang, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Wang's going to try to hold this. He does force a flash out of East Coast carry, but he's taking a lot of damage. Kaiser gets the easy kill under the turret. And now it is just Swerves trying to hold this in a 1 versus 3. But we've got more bodies coming. Both of these mid laners just showing up. And this Vygar will put some damage out if he gets onto
show why he's
anyone.
master? Nope, he's out of there.
Yeah, this could actually be bad. Swerves could be in some big danger here. As Avalite is sticking around, looking for the stun. Does not get it, but he still gets the flash on Swerves.
You see Camer kind of roaming back towards that bottom half. Will be
fairly late here. This bot lane turret's going down. Camer doesn't look like he's going to be able to get in on a fight here, so he's going to just back out. And DTF is starting to take a pretty sizable lead here. This could be some
Vygar
damage in the top lane, but also could be some damage in the bot lane as Vygar is playing insanely aggressively. He's leaving exhaust. Avalite, I have no clue what you were going for there, but he's going to give Cameron his first kill of the game, and this disaster continues for BBB. Meanwhile, the top lane,
oh, he got it!
The outplay!
Oh my god, kiss shot.
Niggles with an excellent outplay on sword.
Mom, get the camera!
And as to Evenlight, I think he started his back too late and had it interrupted.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did Joey stop the back? Is that why that awkward situation developed?
Would make a lot of sense. And that's a costly mistake that Avalite could not have afforded to make. As these kills are going into some dangerous places. Now we got Cameron here trying to fight this blue. He does have Wang in the neighborhood. Remember, they have two smites if they fight it. Yeah, but I think they're content just to waste Kaiser's time, but they are going to be outnumbered here. A lot of bodies making their way towards this top half, and it looks like Wang and Cameron are going to give up on this one. They don't want to do anything too crazy just for a blue buff.
Oh, and bot lane, it looks like has rotated top to work on that tower now with Dinger. Of all the top lane champions you could have just hold bottom tower for you, I think Dinger's probably high on that list.
Oh, definitely, with all the turrets and rockets and grenades that you can use just to AoE wave clear.
And now Smigs is stuck in a 1v2 situation just trying to hold on to his tower, which is very healthy right now, but it's about to not be.
Yes, there's a lot of members of both teams making the way towards the top, and Wang gets caught by the pillar. Leona comes out, gets the stun on the Wang. That should be a kill, although Sirocco does come through pretty big. Wang still running away from down. The house goes down. A kill on the Kaiser, as Cameron's going to have to jump the wall to get out of this one. Senpai
going a little
very
deep.
Senpai!
Hammer does not have a lot of damage yet.
Oh, and that is a huge Draven that was about to join that fight, so did an excellent job getting out of there.
They are definitely in a power slump, and I hope Camera can find the gold soon to finish
Yeah,
some of his
Cameron
items.
went for a fairly early boost of mobility here, so he was playing to roam here, but he hasn't really made it in any of these fights early enough.
Sword? Don't think that's what your ult turret's for, my man.
Oh, it might get them. Oh, wait, he has smite. I was gonna say it could theoretically net them the turret just because it's so healthy. Oh god. And Smigs is trying his hardest to hold onto this turret.
And unfortunately, he doesn't have much armor because he was building to counter
Yeah,
sword.
I was gonna note on that this is like worst case scenario for you as a top laner is you're building all this magic resist to deal with the enemy top laner, and then the bottom lane rotates up, and you're like, damn it!
That is a second Infernal going over to BBB though, and that could become dangerous.
Yeah, this
good
is
series of
definitely
plays on the bots as Zorbs did solo take that bot lane turret. They were leaving him pretty unopposed for a while there, so some good objective play out of BBB. Not something we say very often.
And the third dragon will be another Infernal.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
This is the perfect storm for
If
the
ever
Baddy
you were to
Bull.
take 2 smites in a game.
Yeah, and I need the experts to break this one down. If this game goes super late, who has the advantage?
I mean, I feel like the Vigar and the Talon in the late game are going to do the same exact thing. It's going to be who can execute better. They're just going to kill one person at the beginning of the fight.
Thing is, Vigar just keeps continuing to scale and can eventually just one-shot your tank.
Yeah, this is true, but Vigar is all skill shots versus Talon's the I'm just going to kill you and there's not a lot of counterplay to it.
Yeah, I have to mention Zworbs will be in a pretty good position if this game goes lit. To outrange and carry.
Yeah, if he can get there, he's having a rough go. Well, he's keeping up pretty good in farm.
No,
That's
no,
good.
he is not keeping up good in anything. He has 1,500 gold behinds.
Right, but considering what happened bottom lane, 119 to 135, you would expect that to be worse.
He's also been laning 1 versus 0 for the last 5 minutes, taking that bot lane turret. Y'all colorcasters go too easy on people.
This is why we bring you in, Swift, so you can
Can
bring
we,
the hard facts.
Can we phone some help for Smiggles here?
Yeah,
He looks like he's phoning in the Wang, but
Sort of
however
is
good.
on his way, so it's because there's a lot of members coming out of this outlane. Kaiser
Oh my
actually
god,
going
Wang
to
is
kill
so
between
squishy.
Wang gonna need the Soraka ult to survive, and that still might not be enough. But Leona ult now coming through as this fight is doing full cloud. It's Raven ult from downtown East Coast carry with the kill onto Wang. Now all of these bodies making it to the top lane, but I think everyone's going to just walk away from his lane. Senpai walks through the turret, but what an embarrassing fight from Wang. He could have just walked into his turret, but he thought he could challenge Kaiser on the Trundle. He couldn't.
I don't understand. Did you guys see over by the Krugs? Hammer ulted for something?
to try to get away from the sword, I believe, stun. So he's just trying to use
he
the
was about
stealth.
to get comboed? Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out, like, he ulted way out of that fight. I didn't understand that. And then he just smited the ulti turret, and I was really confused. Joey has to be extra careful here. He's doing the Soraka thing where you're healing to empty.
We do see a lot of members of BBB in the area still.
You're not gonna give this up
Big
easy.
Lord gets a triple knockup, and BBB time to choke out. They finally get a kill on the
Big
Trundle.
shutdown.
Can they keep going forward though? It's a 1-for-1 Wang going forward, but he stops on the chase. He's still at the help.
Oh.
He's going to slow down, but not on Stingers. Cammer flashing forward though.
Woo!
Cammer cleans up.
I don't know why East Coast Carry stayed in for so long.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
With how little mana that both him and Senpai had.
Well, I think they were okay if the Zwerp's ult damage didn't come in.
A clowny fight, but while all that's going on, we do have some macro play coming through. Sword and Mace pushes the mid lane turret down for free. It's going to be a trade with this top lane turret for BBB, so these teams are starting to accelerate this game. But
Looks like we might get a rotate over to Rift Herald. Red team is pinging it here, but Evilite is sniffing that out, but he is in a very awkward position.
yeah, he gets some good damage on the camera, but The exhaust coming through out of Camera as well. Camera's taking a lot of damage, but BBB does outnumber DTF here. So everything will be secure. Wang goes deep, but does not get Leoned. And this fight is going to disengage for a little bit longer.
Cameron needs to go back and spend that gold that he just made.
Yeah,
They want to
Cameron's
fight
on
these things.
2,400 gold right now. I think that BBB need to take their losses, but no, they're going to go for this. Avalite, though, has the stun under the turret. That's a big damage onto Cameron, but he will survive. Avalite, though, flashes out in the process. Now Smiggle's teleporting back, and they want to contest this Rift Herald. It's very low. Can either Smite get in here? The Rift Herald taken.
A flash out by
DTF,
Wing.
and now they're flashing forward. Albino Joe very low. Soraka heals coming through. I think everyone walks out this window. Cameron
Oh, he finally
kills
got what he
Avalite
was
on
looking
the
for.
flank, but at what cost? Cameron gets popped. It's a 1-for-1 with the Ornal from downtown coming through. That's a kill on the Smiggles. BBB wins this fight, kinda, but they didn't get the Rift Heralds. And now Camer gets the Duskblade of Drakthar, maybe starting to hit talent time here.
It looks like he's finally capable of hopping, but the bad news is that one of your most desirable targets, Vigar, also has his Zonias already.
He had that for that fight already, and he used it earlier and
Right.
flashed away, and then decided to stay around. I don't know the reasoning behind that.
I believe he had his ult and was hoping to just... They were gonna cancel each other out, and they were both gonna explode, but...
Yes, the two burst assassins trying to explode each other.
Alright, so
So
we
it just
do have
turns into a 4v4 ARAM all day.
Dragon spawning in a few seconds here. Remember, this is a third Infernal. This could be a pretty huge deal, as both these teams know it. You know how big of a deal the third Infernal is. Both of these teams were here already when it spawns.
That's
Yeah, and
it's
I
gonna
want
be
to
a
point out,
bloodbath.
Smiggles is a very tanky individual. If he can get good positioning and get in the front for his team to soak all that damage, like
Might
he
be
is
going
right
in too
now,
soon.
Yeah, he is getting stunned though. He's taking a lot of damage. Smiggles already jumped well below half. Rock heals coming through, but I don't think they're gonna be able. Smiggles not blocking out. Wang playing a little too far deep. Already down for his team. This is very bad for the Broke Bottom boys. They did not want to give up this Infernal, and that is already one of their spies down. Senpai chasing everyone out of this fight, but we do see Zwerps and the Talon trying to contest here as Senpai is kind of losing his mind here. He goes very deep, but trying
No.
to get damage. Cameron looking for the ult. Smiggles gets a one-man knock, and then Cameron gets a kill here. But will it be enough? East Coast Cannon gets an easy kill onto Cameron. And this is just a disaster for the Broke Bottom boys. They're about to lose Smiggles as well, I think. No,
he's out.
barely makes it out, but it's still a 1-for-3 in favor of DTF, and that's going to turn into a very, very easy dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
that
job
was-
by East Coast Carry picking up Albino Joe with the ultimate and then turning on to Camer, who had kind of blown everything trying to blow up the Leona.
at the beginning of that fight, it's like somebody told Smiggles we're fighting, and then nobody agreed. So Smiggles was sitting there soaking all that damage, and everyone was like, "Are we fighting? Are we not fighting?" I don't know.
To Senpai's credit, he may not be the highest ranked player on his team, but at least he's forcing things to happen. You know, sometimes that blind determination to continue a fight leads to more advantages in the end.
Well, and for DTF's situation, that's been one of their problems all season, is that no one makes anything happen in League of Legends. Like, eventually, somebody has to be the person forcing plays, and there's been a lot
Throwing
of
their
weeks where
body
just
in.
no one does it for DTF. Maybe Senpai on this aggressive Leona is just what this team needed. Albino Joe, though, he is a long way away from his friends, and Senpai is coming around on the flank here. Kaiser's gonna chase this. Albino Joe gets the blast cone, but he's still being hit up by Senpai here now. Avalite on the flank, gonna try to pop Wing, but Avalite may have misplayed this. He's not even coming through though, and then catch Wing, trying to get the counter kill, but at what cost? Smiggles gets the ult kill from downtown. It's a 1-for-1, and I think a disengage.
Evilite walks back into that Ornald. He should have been free to walk away, but I don't know why he pathed back towards it.
Now it's Tier 2 taken here with the Shelly in the mid lane. They're going to
That's
start to
gonna
put some damage onto this inhibitor turret. That's a good halfway chunk coming through. They have a Dinger. They have a Fed Draven. They can probably keep this pressure alive, because there's not a ton of wave clear from BBB.
Camera is floating around everywhere behind them.
Doing the whole talent thing, trying to jump around and be that annoying assassin looking for the one shot.
I don't know why they're chasing that. He's in the jungle. Unless you have all the CC in the world, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Camera to blow up that Draven, especially when he's in the middle of a fight when he's getting that huge Bloodthirster shield.
It looks like they might catch him in a rotation here and get mid tower for free.
Yeah, DTF did need to clear out both their side waves. They played that one a little long, so it is going to cost them the mid lane turret, so that's something for the broke bottom boys.
They're able to establish a good chunk of vision on Baron. When is the next dragon coming up?
More than 3 minutes, and I don't think it's a big one. It is not showing on the Dragon Wall what the next dragon is.
Oh,
Camera blows up Evilite.
Oh.
He had Zonia's, although I don't think it was going to save him anyways.
That Camera's starting to approach that critical mass of being that big assassin that can just take out a carry right away.
I mean, you really hope he's going to get to the point where he can kill the Draven in the middle of the team.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing is, will Camera find a kill on East Coast carry? And so far the answer has really been no. East Coast been positioning very, very intelligently this game.
Yeah, and unfortunately it looks like Evilite's going to have one of those rare bad games on Vygar just due to Camera not having anything else to fight.
Yeah, this is rough for Evilite. I said off stream before this game, the only way DTF wins is if Evilite and East Coast Carry both have really gigantic games. And it's a testament to how well so many things are going on this map that DTF is somewhat in control of this game, even though Evilite's having one of his worst games of the season.
You know, Kaiser's been doing a good job of being at the right place at the right time, and Senpai's been being that, engager that they've been looking for.
Oh, and look at this. They put mid lane in isolation on the bottom side. Hammer's going to go for it again.
Be another kill.
Yeah, looks like Evilite, though, will actually walk out of this one, and maybe that was pretty aggressively played from Camera, although he will still get the spot lane turret.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, DTF needs to figure out what they're going to do to counteract this. You see Chono going around on the side.
They force
no
flashes.
bueno.
Albino Joe, though, will not be able to flash follow. He's going to get popped kill to Senpai. Smiggles did have to teleport in defensively here, as they're going to need a lot of things.
Oh my lord!
East Coast Carry gets the kill onto Swerves, and now they're chasing the air, forcing Smiggles back to the base. Remember, this inhibitor turret was already kind of low, but Wang
What
is
happened? I missed it.
Another big portal.
The heal.
Through, but Wang goes too deep! Oh no, Wang could not afford to make that mistake in this situation. But how many times have we seen Wang screw it up when his team needs him to come through? That cost them the inhibitor tower, and now it's just Camera and Smiggles trying to hold the space. But those are some low health bars on Kaiser and Senpai. But Camera, he's wasting too much time here. You have to contest that inhibitor. But Camera's just content to poke from the backside. Camera has been neutered in this game. He's like a wild dog who had his balls chopped off. He is scared to flank, and the inhibitor is taken by DTF.
Now tell me how you really feel, Swift.
I think I just told you a lot about how I really feel. Man, this game is atrocious, League of Legends, and I love it.
Yeah, the problem with the Xin Zhao, you build so squishy early. If your team does not snowball ahead, you just explode at the beginning of these fights because you've got 1,500 health and not really any defenses.
Yeah, BBB once again. Picking up
Hammer is
another
still
dragon.
really scared to go on East Coast carry because of that Bloodthirster shield and the Leona standing literally on top of him.
And one auto attack from East Coast Carry will do half of Camera's health right now.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like Camera having one of the quietest 6-2 games you'll see. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty solid stat line. A lot of situations you can say, hey, Camera's going to be 6-2 on an assassin. You think, all right, he's really kind of forcing a lot of pressure. But I feel like Camera's been kind of quiet this whole game.
Another flash out of Joey.
Yeah,
And getting the Ornn out.
But Smiggles is trying to create some zoning here, but he's a little too far away from his team there. That's going to be a shutdown. Another kill going to Kaiser. And this is going to be rough.
I think they're trying to commit to a split push strat, but they're spending way too much to keep Dive the Fountain off of the Baron.
Yes, Sword does have a teleport available, but he's not currently creating any pressure. He's a long way from the enemy base, as both of the smites for BBB are getting close to this Baron. Remember, this is 3 smites available. They're looking for a blast cone.
We've hoped for.
Yeah,
Wang goes in way too early.
Oh, Wang, though, goes in, gets popped, but now Leona is zoning him on camera.
Now the camera takes it!
But will it matter? Cameron now has to find some kills. As East Coast Carry is chunking the hell out of his BBB bot lane. He's killed Albino Joe. He's looking for Swerves. They have sight. Swerves will make it out of this one. Cameron gets there as well. But Sword of Ace is teleporting in. This is going to be a 5 versus 3, and DTF wants to end. If they win this game, they will have a 2-0 tiebreak over BBB. If they win this game, they will end Broke Bottom Boys season and guarantee themselves a spot in the playoffs. With Baron, with Creeps, they've gotten 1 Nexus turret. They're working on the second. Can Cameron find something? There's some low health bars, but I don't know if it'll be enough. The second Nexus turret is down. Cameron gets 1 kill. Wang,
Wang, what are you doing?
But Wang gonna die one more time for old time's sake. But it may be enough. This base will not be taken. The Nexus holds for a little while longer.
Cameron wants blood. There's 3 health bars walking away below half. Oh, just kidding. He just wants farm. Oh man, just what we wanted, right?
Exactly
3 smites sitting at Baron.
There was a point, it was at like the 21-minute mark where I wanted to make a comment about how there was no Cameron! Going deep.
Oh no.
1v2, a big Leona comes out. He could not, but he could 2v2. Trades 1 for 1 with Sword and Mace.
Good job out of
take
Sword
his
there.
requisite kill of the game and walk away back to his base. Yeah, that really just explains why Cameron's respecting East Coast Carry so much when the Leona's around. He can jump in and just not do a damn thing.
Yeah, good job by Sword putting down that ultimate turret and then hitting that Zhonya's fast enough so he didn't get exploded by Cameron.
Now the question of how does DTF want to close this one out? Do they run it down mid or do they try to set up something a little more tactical?
Huge wave about to hit top turret here, and Evil 8's gonna go over there and soak that up.
Cameron's been doing a great job at being ahead, but he's got to do something else with his lead than just split push and take 1 person in each fight.
Yeah, it's been really interesting this game. I've been seeing huge waves by both teams almost hit towers, and the other team is answering, and you get nothing for it. So it's really not. It's good setup, but not good execution. It's really weird.
Yeah, it seems like it's been more accidental setup of the side waves than anything intentional out of these teams.
But East Coast Carry is going to trot over to the bottom lane and take it in 5 hits, and...
Yeah, they do get a slow onto Albino Joe, but I don't think they're going to really get kills here. Now, sometimes pretty deep, but Wang, the squishiest Xin Zhao you will ever see, takes 1 auto there. Joey almost dead under his turret. Remember, Cameron is in the top lane. He's about to show on the minimap. This is a very tilted play out of Cameron because DTF can easily commit to some dives here. Evelite is prepping the mid lane. Cameron playing like he wants the base race, but DTF only has an inhibitor and a Nexus to go through. It's not like Cameron has a teleport, and Cameron is going to be late to this party. This could be his death. Cameron is now just ready for lethal, but this inhibitor being chunked out. The inhibitor down. Can DTF find a kill here? Wang looking for a flank, but Smiggle's already flashing out on the tank. They are on to the Nexus. The Nexus is trying to best. Cameron is invaded by though. He's popped the bot lane. That is the Dragon down. It doesn't matter. I do not think it does. It does not. DTF are going to the playoffs.
Ooh.
We finally know who is in last place for the final season of the SPL.
And for old time's sake, my Wayne gonna finish last in the SPL one more time.
Now we have
also
the
get to
important
find
part.
out at what price does Cameron's back break. I believe it's $13. I can't remember what he went for.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can pull East Coast Carry in here for an interview. This will just take a moment as I need to add the man and then message him. I don't know if any of you guys have him added. If you could message him, I don't know if he has TeamSpeak. His team uses Discord, so we may not even be able to get this going here.
We could always interview Sword and Mace as East Coast Carry. I enjoyed that last week.
Wow, why don't we just interview Senpai? Maybe he was the glue they needed.
I don't know what that all right meant, 30. Alright, well, as long as they have a TeamSpeak, really.
We're talking to somebody from DTF.
So are we talking to Kaiser or are we talking on Kaiser on behalf of East Coast Carry? That's the real question. How do we want to run this interview?
I think we congratulate him in.
Alright, if we can get him done to the booth, get a headset on him, production team.
User joined your channel.
Hello?
Hey, there we go.
Welcome.
Welcome to the chat, Kaiser.
How's it going? I'll be honest. I think Mikey fell on his sword for me here. I think he should have gotten the interview though.
Well, channeling your inner Draven, how does it feel being on a team with somebody that can half health pretty much everyone on the other team?
To be honest with you, it feels pretty good. Looking at those, especially those late games when he's chunking Soraka, that felt pretty good to see. Finally see my boy pop off. Show the league that we got the best bot lane in the league coming here.
Oh, this escalated quickly.
Woof.
I think my bot lane has something to say about that.
I look forward to seeing you in the playoffs. That's all I'll say. I gotta come in with the cocky, aggressive attitude because we barely snuck into playoffs. So.
But
Now
you
you gotta-
snuck
now
in,
you
and
gotta
that's
run
what
the
counted.
gauntlet.
And now you guys will have a first-round matchup against Table for Four, who are not the most intimidating-looking team. So, have you guys have you had a chance to really think about that matchup at all yet?
We haven't necessarily looked ahead, but I think finally today was the first time we showed. Well, last week to an extent obviously didn't come together for us, but I think this week we finally showed that we know what some amount of macro is, and we've got some shot calling started to actually happening now instead of kind of not talking and just letting things happen. So I think we've improved a lot over the past like 2-3 weeks here, and I think it'll show.
Well, that is good news to hear when you're going into a best of 3 situation. It's never good SBL when a team loses the same way 3 times. Or wins the same way 3 times. So it'll be definitely fun to watch, especially you guys versus Table for 4. That should be some clowny games again, I think.
Well, for the sake of the entertainment, sure. But I hope by then we've got some more practice in. We can get our macro even better. Hopefully we'll come out the gate strong.
So since you've now locked in a position playoffs, are we going to expect something crazy out of you guys next week in what is just a formality game almost for you gents?
I don't think so. I think we're gonna probably want to win pretty much. I think it's important to come out the end of the season strong and to continue to be strong. So I think this week and last week, like I said, last week to a certain extent, but this week especially, and I think next week we want to just kind of keep improving. So that way we come into the playoffs hitting our stride.
Then.
Yeah, absolutely. And that game between you and Senpai being the front lines, did you guys focus on any enemies specifically? Were you getting worried about Smiggles? I think at one point it was 3-0-4, and it looked like you guys were having a heck of a time trying to put a dent in him until East Coast Carry hit 5th gear, and it didn't matter what the hell he was hitting.
To be honest with you, I was never really worried about anything like that. I think if they wanted to first pick Zin and Ornn, they should have considered banning Trundle from me. Trundle's great into both champs, so I was never concerned about Ornn specifically. Senpai and I played mostly in a way, especially when we took the inhib for the first time, we played in a way that we just wanted to make sure that we could protect East Coast from the Talon. So that's why we often were trying to always hover the opposite side of him. That way, if he ever tried to come in, we had enough time to react so we could do something.
Well, it clearly worked. So congrats to you guys. It was a huge game. I think it was a fairly exciting game as well. So thank you for making the Baddy Bowl live up to the hype. And I think that's going to do it for game 1 here, guys. So stick around. We've got Table for 4 versus Back in Our Day coming up in just a few minutes here. So stay tuned.